Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 Million by 1 Million Strategy Roundtable for Entrepreneurs. This is part of the 1M1M program that you know is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue, build $1 trillion in global GDP, and 10 million jobs. These roundtables happen every week. This is our 318th session, free mentoring session. And beyond this, in the premium program, we have numerous private roundtables as well. So this method of working with entrepreneurs, working sessions with entrepreneurs on a regular basis using video conferencing has become a very effective, very productive way of us to work with you. And it's been a real pleasure and a real opportunity to be a part of your processes, your journeys, and deliver value to a very large number of entrepreneurs around the world. So it's been exciting, to say the least. The event is being recorded. You will have the recording available on our YouTube channel as well as on our blog. If you're live tweeting the show today, please use hashtag 1M1M. Our Twitter handles are at 1M by 1M and at Romana, and we publish a lot of great content through those channels, so another excellent learning opportunity. And then we also have the Roundtable channel, 1M1M Roundtable channel on YouTube that you can use to learn also. So every single roundtable we've done is captured here in the YouTube channel. These are the call-in instructions for you to call in and participate, dialogue, and so forth. So we're not quite ready for that yet, but we will put this up a little bit later, and you can dial in and participate, ask questions, etc. We're going to actually start today with a couple of entrepreneur pitches. And I just want to set some expectations before you, start with your pitches. This is a working session. We are here to work with you. You will be dialing from various parts of the world. I am based in Silicon Valley. Maureen is based in New Jersey, and our team is spread out all over the world. And the entrepreneurs who come to these sessions are spread out all over the world. So this is a truly global forum. And at the same time, there are business principles that are universal that you need to follow to be successful as a business. And one of those principles that we follow absolutely like religion here is entrepreneurship equals customers, revenues, and profits. Financing is optional, exit is optional. And we will be guiding you with that mantra in mind. And our entire reason for being here is to be of assistance to you, to help you along. This is not Shark Tank. Our agenda is not to entertain millions of people. Our agenda is to help you accelerate your entrepreneurial journey. Now, I will be giving you feedback based on my experience, based on my several years, about 20 years of being in the startup business as well as doing 1M1M now for 6 years. It's very possible, however, that you will disagree with my feedback, and that's perfectly all right. It's your business. You do exactly what you want to do. Take the feedback you get from here as constructive critique. You may get questions and critique that would be, for you to process and address, but really at the end of the day, you make the decision on what you do, how you do what you do, and that's pretty much it.
Can you hear me okay,
so,
Shimana?
Shane, please put yourself on mute. We are going to do the entrepreneur pitches. You were a bit late, so I need to do the entrepreneur pitches first, and then we'll have your session after. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now if you are not pitching, please participate by asking questions in public chat. and also ask questions by calling in when the line is open. We will open up the line a bit later. We're going to start with Ramesh Mahalingam in Santa Clara, California. The company is Vizru. Ramesh, please unmute your line and tell us what Vizru is doing.
Yeah. Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Ramesh Mahalingam. I'm the founder and CEO of Vizru. And Vizru builds no-code business automation platform. And Gartner projects and or Forrester projects this to be a $20 billion market in 2020. And we started back in April 2015. And since then we have, as Ramana mentioned, we have been focusing on customers and customer success, and that's always been our goal. And in fact, to a point that we actually declined very early VC investments right from the start because I had to prove the product, and most importantly, the product had to focus on helping larger enterprises. So we wanted to sign up some really key large customers. So a little over a year after we founded, we are absolutely thrilled that we've been able to work with customers like Lenovo, Dell, VMware, and others. So so here we are.
So you need to tell me where you want to go in your slides, and I will accordingly advance your slides.
Sure. This is a perfect start. I know a quick background about myself, and I have about 20 years of working with networking companies and virtualization companies. And I was one of the early developers or head of IT for Nicira, a company that actually focused on network virtualization. And we were acquired by VMware, and I was with VMware running the technical operations for the network and security business unit for about 3 years. And then I founded Vizru in April 2015. So we are based out of Santa Clara, and we have about 22 people now. We expect to grow to about 15, 16 more by end of the year. And next slide, please. A quick outlook. We expect to hit about $1 million this year, and thank you. And we started the product shipped out about 7 or 8 months ago, and we signed a couple of large partnerships with Rackspace and a company called Rectaris that provides intelligent business messaging. And so with that, we expect our projections to be about $5 million. That's our forecast. Hopefully we can hit that. And we broke even in Q4. And we have the company has been bootstrapped right from the start, and we were augmenting it through the customer revenues to a large extent. And we did take right now we are working with some angel investors, and we've taken a small round, and we just closed another small round.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, I wanted to just jump right to the platform or offering itself. We have 2 different products that we offer, and the architecture, we call it a no-code business automation platform. There are 2 different products. One is called the Intelligent Business Exchange, and where the buyer persona is strictly business teams. We sell to CMOs and VP of sales, and so on. The second product is called as the Vizru Fast Track, and that's focusing on IT as the buyer persona, where we solve what Gartner calls it as a bimodal IT challenge. Essentially having the ability to quickly add new services to your IT infrastructure without disrupting your existing system.
Okay.
Just real quick, just to talk about a real-life use case, we are solving an interesting challenge for Visa, where Visa wanted to add a new SMS-based banking services, like loading accounts and checking the account balance and so on, all through the SMS. So adding that, enabling that capability, think about that existing 30, 35-year-old infrastructure that Visa has, just trying to figure out where to really add the service has been a huge challenge for Visa, where we were actually able to provide this right on an overlay that allowed them to connect to their existing services and add new vendors. And now they are now participating on Visa Hackathon next month, and we are absolutely thrilled to be part of it.
Okay, fabulous. And Visa is a paying customer of yours?
Yes.
Fabulous. Okay.
Next slide, please. This kind of explains our selling model. So the way our product works, and it kind of explains our capability as well. We sell this more like a blade and a cartridge model. The Intelligent Business Exchange is the backplane. That's the app fabric. So that has the business orchestration layer. And we slide these use cases, these little applications called as smart apps, as the cartridges themselves. So from a user's perspective, they don't really buy an entire loaded, chassis per se. They just buy the use case that makes sense to them. And so with that, we can, essentially you can just slide one use case and we just charge per smart app. And
okay.
So a smart app. So again, the underlying DNA of the product itself is that it should allow the business teams to be able to spin up an enterprise application, a mission-critical application by themselves in a matter of minutes with absolutely no code. So we have a library of apps that we already provide, like opportunity tracking management and the program spend management and so on. If they don't find the app that suits their need, they can actually pretty much build and click and actually spin up a new app and connect into their existing IT resources on a hybrid environment and spin this up in a matter of 3 days. So more often than not, we've seen that what was being projected to take about 18 months to 2 years to actually to deliver an IT project, we have actually been able to deliver them in a matter of 3 to 4 weeks. And that too with customers like Dell and Lenovo and Nutanix and others. So this truly speaks to the no-code capability of the platform itself.
Okay.
A sample use case of how this was done, our sample customer in this case is Nutanix, and Nutanix wanted to build a program spend tracking capability that can actually talk to like backend systems, and more importantly, they wanted to open that capability to all the channel partners where they can actually file these requests that can be approved through the direct managers automatically and go through the business policies that they had built within. And this entire smart app was actually built ground up in just a matter of 3 days, and this was done by the business team within the marketing team by themselves. So what it did was you can actually spin up the presentation layer of your app. You can build the workflows as to how the app should behave, connect it to your backend systems, Salesforce and Oracle and other systems they have. And finally, they can just open that app to their external partners, Citrix, FI, Cisco, all other partners are actually using the platform actively today.
Okay. What does, Ramesh, what does a installation like this, a Nutanix, for instance, this use case, how much would a Nutanix would be paying you for something like this?
Sure. The product itself is 100% cloud-based. It's a subscription, and they charge for the fabric. The whole platform is $120K per year, and each smart app that's spun up, we charge $12K per year. And depending on, so there are cases where Nutanix actually says, I want to share critical opportunity information on both sides in real time, where Citrix shares the similar information and so on. So when that happens, it's $12K per partner.
Okay. So from one account like Nutanix or Dell or so forth, you're making over $100,000 a year in revenue easily. Yes.
Our average deal size, we expect, right now it's about 140 to 150K. On year two, with the same model on a renewal business, we expect to get to about $500,000 per account.
And are they paying annually? Are they paying upfront annually, or are they paying month by month?
They pay quarterly. It is a subscription model, annual subscription, and they pay quarterly.
So your cash flow is in good shape because of what you just described.
Yes, we are very healthy cash flow at this point, and which is one of the big reasons why we were able to manage the cash flow. We didn't want to take early VC funds because we were able to manage them with customer revenues. Excellent,
excellent. Okay, keep going, please.
Excellent. So the IBX in action. So one of the key value proposition is this overlay. That's our that's our bread and butter, and that's our intellectual property. So the capability of the overlay that we were able to build, there are three major capabilities. One is it allows the two independent organizations like Citrix and Nutanix to build collaborative business workflows themselves. That's very critical. The problem that we see today is there's been a huge shift in how businesses are done today. Today, it's a partner-driven economy. So what that really means is when you have two large organizations like Dell on one end and Citrix on the other, and when they're coming together on a technology sale, they have to be able to build collaborative workflows, and that's what we allow organizations to do. So this easily allows you to slice, redraw the map of how organizations really work. So that's the first key capability, collaborative workflows. And second thing is it provides dynamic exchange of information all in real time. So when field on Citrix, when certain things changes, it instantly pushes that information to Nutanix and vice versa. So it gives you a real-time exchange of information because of the overlay capability. Third major piece, one of the big pushbacks typically really customers really have is how much can I control the policies and how much of the data can I control and what can I share and what I cannot. So that's one of the key capabilities that the works. Since it's an overlay, it gives complete policy autonomy for both organizations to determine what system they want to connect to and what frequency they want to share the data to. So those are the three major value proposition of the platform itself. The benefit, it gives a huge opportunity for customers to transform their business operations in the utility-based model. So it's just a cartridge slide model, so they just pay for what they use and they don't, so they can easily forecast and determine the ROI. And we have consistently been able to get the return on that investment in a matter of 3 to 4 months. So in just one quarter, they can see the data coming in. Immediately, they realize the ROI. And
so Ramesh, timing-wise, we have many other presenters. Why don't we go to what you want to discuss in terms of questions? What questions do you have? We don't have time to do the full presentation. What questions did you come here with? You're doing a great job.
No, thank you. So, the question, I'll cut short to my expectation as well. So, what we are looking at is, we have been working with typically with investors. We wanted to actually have friendly investors who understands the technology, where we are heading. We'll be happy to do follow demos and so on. But more importantly, I'm in the process of putting together advisors and investors who believe in the idea as to where we are heading. And as much as possible, I'm no offense to the institutional investment, I'm trying to avoid it until I personally feel that we have crossed the chasm, per se. So we expect this to be January. We have 2 big partnerships coming up, so we wanted to make sure that's processed and digested well, and the press goes out on that. So January is when we probably do very serious look into other institutional investment. But through this process from now, we just want some early investors who believe in the idea, who wants to be part of it, and just have a conversation with them.
So your interest in 1M is to find other investors who fit more your model or what you're looking for and avoid institutional investors? That's why you're here?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So, just hang on. This is something that obviously we do. We make introductions to investors. I will be speaking a little bit later on in the program on how 1M works, and you can learn more about it. Let's go through the rest of the presentations. In fact, I'm going to go to Shane Evans next, who's our guest from Ireland today. So Ramesh, thank you for your presentation. You're doing a great job. You're absolutely bang on our mantra of bootstrap first, raise money later. You build much better, much more robust companies in that mode, and I'm thrilled to see that that's the methodology that you're practicing and delivering really well. So congratulations, and we'll talk more in a bit.
Thank you.
So we are going to go to Shane Evans next. Shane is the founder of Scrapinghub. Shane is based in Ireland, but he runs a very, very interesting company that I wanted to expose you to. So Shane, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Shamana. Thank you for having me. I'm sorry about the delay earlier.
So you've built a fascinating virtual company that operates globally with customers and employees from all over the world. This is how 1 million by 1 million operates as well. We believe in the model. We're seeing more and more success stories in this model. Please describe the configuration of your team structure. Where are people located?
I think maybe we're a bit unusual in that we don't have a central office and remote workers. We're completely distributed. I founded Scrapinghub when I was in Japan. I'm now based in Ireland. My co-founder is based in Montevideo in Uruguay. And we've grown to 132 people from 48 countries from every continent. And so
you are in Ireland, your co-founder is in Uruguay. Where else are some, concentrations of people? Are there more people in Ireland, in Uruguay, or are those houses, or how does it work?
Yeah, there are more people in Ireland. I think largely because, I meet people and they get excited about Scrapinghub and join. We also have a concentration of people in Uruguay, but we're really very distributed. We happened to have a few people in Spain, for example, that went to a lot of conferences, met more developers, and we ended up with a lot of people joining us from Spain. So we have a lot of people in Europe, a lot in South America. I would say there are two areas where they're a little bit concentrated, but it's very, very spread out. We have 2 people in Japan, somebody in New Zealand, quite a few in the US as well.
And it works. Tell us a bit about your business. What do you do?
So we provide a complete solution for web data extraction. So this means that we provide a cloud-based platform as a service where people can run web crawling jobs. We provide a suite of tools, which is basically everything you need to get structured data from the web. But we also provide a complete end-to-end solution where our experts can do everything and just provide our customers with data. So we recently expanded to do in-house data analysis, and we have a team of data scientists as well.
So just to explain what that means to our audience,
sure.
What does that data extraction, data analysis mean? You have scrapers that go out, digital scrapers that go out into the web and extract data, and then you have heuristics and technology as well as manual processes to clean up that data and categorize that data into formats that are usable by CRM systems and other kinds of digital systems?
Exactly. And actually, it's very varied in terms of the use cases. We have customers who do business intelligence, maybe use it for HR recruitment, competition monitoring. We have people who would, manufacturers who might check that their products are being listed correctly on other websites. We have some people who are interested in monitoring legal websites to see when things change. We have customers in finance, in government, but actually a lot of startups use web data. It's often a good way to see something, but it's quite varied.
And what scale are you at this point? You said you have 132 people, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And what about revenues? What about number of customers?
So in 2015, we did 5.1 million euros in revenue. That's just under, I think, 5.8 million US dollars. In customer count, we tend to break it down because, the service versus our professional services software development projects. We have, I think, just over 1,000 active customers on our platform as a service. Our professional services are less, obviously, but we have, maybe currently we're doing about 50 custom bespoke projects.
And how do people find you, or how do you find these customers?
Well, that's a very good question, and it's changed over time. So when we started Scrapinghub, we were very lucky. We worked in this area before. We had released some open source software, and that had gained a very good reputation. So a lot of developers who had this problem, they found the tools that we produced that were free, and often, sometimes, they would then realize that, well, the people who built them are actually available to help me. So that in the early years, that completely bootstrapped us in terms of for the first 2 or 3 years, we had more leads than we were able to hire good engineers to fulfill that work. So that was really good at the start. As we grew, then I think just through engagement, we have a blog, we post answers online on Stack Overflow and Quora and all the websites. We're active in the community. So that's worked really well for us in terms of inbound.
Mm-hmm. And talk to us about how you have pulled together the virtual team and how does the virtual team work. So for example, you said you and your co-founder were in completely different places. How did you meet? What is the genesis of the story?
Okay, so I met my co-founder at my previous company. It was also a startup, which unfortunately didn't hit with as much success as Scrapinghub, but we had built a system and we needed more engineers. My co-founder had actually started up a startup in his own country to provide remote software development. So that's where we met. My boss made an introduction. I realized, hey, those guys are really great programmers. So we hired them and we started working closely together.
And this is in Uruguay, Montevideo, Uruguay.
I was working for a company based out of London. I happened to be in Tokyo, and Pablo, my co-founder, was in Montevideo in Uruguay. When I actually came to starting Scrapinghub, I went out to Montevideo for 3 months so we could work a bit more closely together. And we've been remote since. We meet up maybe every year.
And so your co-founder had a staffing company for engineering in Uruguay. Did you get a bunch of engineers from Uruguay then as you kick this thing off?
We did, yeah. So that was the big reason for the concentration in Uruguay in the very early days. One other thing that really helped with our hiring as well was, I mentioned we were involved in open source software. We had some contributors who maybe we'd already worked with online, but we never met. So for us, it was really natural to just keep working in this remote fashion.
So all these people that you've hired since, you've met them through these open source communities? Is that your primary hiring principle?
No. Early on that was, but our need for engineers quickly outgrew what we could find through just by coincidence or people who happened to contribute to our software. So we did very well advertising online, especially in the earlier days. As we grew, then we referrals, people we met at events and conferences, that tended to get a bit more important. We got very good at hiring engineers. What kind of people do you hire? How do you hire them? And who is drawn to this virtual company model? Are there lessons that you've learned along the way? Yeah, absolutely. So I think there are broadly two kinds of people who are really interested in this kind of work, and I've been in both categories at one point in time. The first is maybe the younger digital nomad, where they're very much interested in the ability to travel. Maybe they want to live in a different country. We had actually one person who maybe spent 6 months of the year at home and 6 months in some other place of the world. She came to visit me last year, but the year before she was in the US. That's quite common. And then the slightly older category, which I think I'm a part of now, who maybe would value, who don't want to live in a certain place just for work. Maybe they want to be able to live in their hometown. Maybe they want to spend more time with their family instead of commuting in a big city. it's that kind of choice, and we have very much split among both groups of people.
And do you have a lot of women in the company?
We do actually, yeah. I mean, not enough, but I think, you know, by our industry standards, it's not bad. And we do. So
women wanting to work from home is not one of your sweet spots.
It is. I was counting them in the category of staying at home, maybe not wanting to commute, maybe valuing time with their family over having to, you know, leave early in the morning, return late at night. I'm definitely in that category myself. I love that I can always have lunch with my daughter, no matter how busy I am. That, you know, we get to spend time together. And we do have some women who may be coming back after maternity leave, easing back into work, or maybe we've been out of the workforce for a while. That tends to work really well too.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And what about systems and processes? What are some key systems and processes that you use to make such a large virtual team flow well together?
That's a very good question, because well-documented processes have been very important. It's always a good idea anyway to write stuff down, but when you're working remotely, it's absolutely essential. I think from the software development point of view, which is a lot of what we do, that's usually fairly clear that there's well-supported, there's common tools that everybody uses. But it's all the other stuff, you know, documenting we have a big internal wiki, which is, you know, pages for every different department and all the procedures and things people know. We have great getting started guides, and we've put a lot of effort into onboarding new hires. That's been really important to us. Day-to-day tools, we use Slack for communication. That is, I think, the center of my workday, and for many people in Scrapinghub, they sign into this Slack, but it could be other messaging programs. We happen to use Slack. We use Google Hangouts for meetings. We have a company newsletter that goes out once a week. We encourage people to give talks internally. We have our own version of lightning talks where people get up and can talk about anything. Some of it's times work related, other times it's about their hobby or a recipe they want to share or anything like that. We use Office Vibe as well, which is a software that allows our staff to provide feedback, often anonymous. It kind of took off among our staff. They really enjoy providing feedback, and it seems very insightful. Yeah, I think those are the main things.
And are there any concentrations, like you were talking about your co-founder being in Uruguay and hiring from his staffing network? Is that part of the strategy, is to have like a group of people in one place that are maybe working out of the same office or have some physical contact? Is that something you do?
It hasn't actually been part of our strategy. It's happened in a few places. I think often you will get one person who wants to recommend and happen to have some great contacts, and they will hire a few people. So we had a group from Russia, from St. Petersburg. We have an office in Poland. It's not an official office, but somebody there rented an office, and we had one in Brazil. So this tends to happen, but it hasn't been an official policy of ours.
The trend that I see in these virtual office or virtual company organizations is sometimes these concentrations develop, and then maybe 5 or 6 people who work for the same virtual company work out of the same co-working space and have some sort of a, physical meeting point as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That is even happening in my hometown now, where we had an office, and there's just this really nice co-working space with other entrepreneurs, and one of our guys started working there, and he invited me, and I was there this afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. And where do you go from here? What's the next step in the evolution of the company? You have 1,000 customers, you have 132 people, you have over €5 million in revenue. Where do you go from here? How do you grow?
Well, I think from the remote side, virtual company side, I think we're not going to change that model. I think that's worked really well for us. We are still looking for ways to bridge the gap and bring people closer together. So that's something we'll still be concentrating on. In terms of growing the company, we're still making changes. We're still finding our way in some areas. Some things we do really well, like our platform as a service, but we're continuously striving to make that better. We've got a new strategy where we're working on an edition of it to make it more appealing to first-time users, make it more developer-friendly. I mentioned earlier that we've started a new data science team. So we're really looking to advance the state of the art in technology in our area. There's been big advances in machine learning and artificial intelligence. We've been doing this work in a kind of a bespoke basis, but we're trying to bring more of it now to our products and build more expertise. So those are the areas we're pushing in at the moment.
Would you consider raising financing at some point, or do you want to bootstrap this?
Yeah, it was interesting to hear Vizru's story as well earlier. So I think we did the same thing, you know, when we were starting off. We definitely didn't want to do it right away. I wasn't sure which way this would go. I wanted the time to explore, to work things out. I still feel like we're working things out, even though we've been growing fairly steadily. So it's not something we're looking at now, but it's also not something I'm going to rule out for the future, you know, further on down the road, right? Well,
very good. So it's a very interesting story, and I wanted, you know, I am based in Silicon Valley. I'm right off Sand Hill Road in Menlo Park, California, and here in Silicon Valley, the talent war is incredible. The cost of living has gone completely out of control. The traffic has gone completely out of control, and you know, I know so many people who are each commuting 1.5 to 2 hours each way per day. So that's like 3 to 4 hours of commute, and that's a complete waste of time. So I'm a huge believer in the kind of model that you are doing, and we are doing the same. Actually, we are basically running a virtual company right from the beginning. So it's much more productive. You know, I have no commute, and I also don't travel that much for work, but we are completely connected, and we are able to do everything that we need to do, you know, virtually. Basically, the collaboration tools today are so strong and so interesting that we have no trouble getting everything that we need to do, getting them done, you know, without a lot of loss in productivity through stuff like commute and so forth. So for a lot of entrepreneurs who are struggling with, you know, cost of talent and the logistics of talent, this is a model that is very much worth looking into as you develop your talent strategy, your human resource strategy. That's why I invited Shane to expose you to the model. Shane, if you're staying for the mentoring, I'm going to go to the another few entrepreneur pitches, okay? So
okay, thank you very much, Samantha.
Let's go to, let me see, who's next? William Mansfield is next, SocialHaven.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Great. So my name is William Mansfield, and I've built SocialHaven. You can go to the next slide. A little bit about myself. I am a software architect. That's what I do for a living. So this company is a bootstrap with a paycheck, along your mantra, one of your mantras there. And you know, the title that most people call me would be a full stack developer, but I find that title is indescriptive, not correct. So super coder is a better word, a little funner too. I'm based in North Carolina, and you know, the fun fact about me is I've never had a headache in my life. So my wife, you know, says I have a headache, and I don't actually know what that feels like. I bonked my head a couple of times, but that's it. So SocialHaven is a private engagement platform, and it's designed for private schools, memberships, and clubs. But the phrase engagement is kind of a tough phrase, and it's hard to describe. So if you think of SocialHaven as a private social network, like a private Facebook, but you, the proprietor, are in control. So you can definitely do photos and videos and tagging and comments and all that stuff, but you can also send newsletters out or send forms to be filled out through the platform. So instead of sending paper home, you just assign it to a class, and everyone in the class has to fill the form out. Or the same thing for documents. So, you know, the the launch partner I have now, you know, we have to sign documents every year for private school, and instead of sending home 15 copies and email follow-ups, now it's just all on the phone. You touch a button, use your finger, signed, ready to go. It's also an information hub where you can, you know, obviously share information about the school, what the processes are, you know, chat back and forth with each other. So the chat system, much like, you know, WhatsApp, where you can find, you know, for example, if I don't know who Lily is, but my daughter hung out with Lily, I can just start typing Lily, and I'll see Lily's mom or dad, say, hey, you guys want to go to the park? Marion had a good time with you. And then it also manages events. So if there's an event, let's say a cleanup day or something, you can in the app see what those events are and RSVP. And for things like potlucks, for example, you could RSVP and have to choose an inventory item you're going to bring. So then all of that is just in a single platform. The idea is that people expect things to be kind of more like Facebook and a little more controlled. They don't want to thumb through their emails, the pile of papers, just to find a teeny bit of information. They don't want to sign up from some website that does this or some other website that does that. They don't want to go to Facebook to see videos and pictures. So all of this becomes, as the title is, there's a little social haven all around one particular school or club. So I can go to the next slide. And this is a mobile-first app. Everything is designed for the iOS and Android phone, and this is, you know, these are real screenshots of the app. And this is actually my daughter's school. I used the photos that weren't showing any kids, so I wouldn't get in trouble. But it gives you an idea of kind of what the app feels like and looks like. You see bulletins, you see photos, you have to sign documents, and this is all, you know, at the touch of your fingers. Go to the next slide, too. This is a screenshot of the console because you can't have an app by itself. There's a lot of functionality that you have to manage in the background that an app just really can't do. Settings, configuration, reports, all that kind of stuff. This gives you a screenshot idea of what the back end, you know, of the system looks like. And it is kind of robust, and it's growing every day as the needs come out and I discover them. So quick look at the timeline. In December, I moved here to North Carolina. I'm a remote developer. I've been for 15 years, so like they were saying a moment ago, I can live wherever I want, so it's kind of a tough thing. We just keep moving around. But we finally moved here and bought a house. We like it here. And then we started our kids in school, and then I noticed the same problem at this Montessori school that I had in California, and that's essentially there was no social haven. So I called the school and said, hey, I have an idea. That first meeting was in January, January 6th, actually. And I talked to them about it, and they said, great, when can we use it? I was like, well, I haven't even built it yet. I haven't even started building it. They didn't have a name yet. So January is when I first named it, and then, of course, started coding. It took 4 months for me to get to alpha release with, you know, iOS and Android and a console. And then a little bit over the summer, they were using it for summer school, testing things out, making sure everything's good. Right now, school started again, and it's the full school, you know, the full, it's not just summer school. So that's kind of where we are now, user acceptance and making sure there's no custom functionalities that I'm missing, you know, maybe some export or delete or remove or, you know, just tiny little details that are easy to lose. So, you know, I did this myself, and I am bootstrapping with a paycheck, and very soon after this acceptance, I'm going to have to reach into, you know, how I'm going to move the product and how I'm going to sell it. Now, I've got, so far, you know, I feel very good about the customer validation. I've got some quotes there. I mean, everyone that uses the app loves it, and the whole school, you know, I get calls and messages all the time. You know, just yesterday, I got, 3 days ago, right before I sent this slideshow in, someone said that last one there, I was not sure you could replace texting for me. And I was shocked, because I guess, I didn't really realize that they do a lot of texting between each other at the school. You know, the teachers text each other, talk to each other, and, you know, it's just been a very positive feeling. And everyone, as the stats there show, all the parents, 80% of them, look at SocialHaven every day. And that's much different than, you know, if you look at your email or look at your stuff, you may look at it, but you're not looking at it. When you go to SocialHaven, you're actually only going to look at your school stuff. It's a very different engagement number. I can say with, you know, clarity that all the parents will see this content because they treat it like Facebook. You go to Facebook or LinkedIn, probably daily, check what's going on, and that's it. And do the same thing with SocialHaven. They treat it the same way. So I feel very good about. Good.
what is your arrangement with the school? Are they paying you some sort of a subscription fee, or how is the school going to pay for it?
Yeah, and that's what that first quote is about. Like last month, they said, shouldn't we be paying you your service fee now? Because I told them in the beginning that I didn't want them to start paying me until it was done so that they wouldn't think it was theirs because they're helping me out. I want to make sure that they recognize that it's mine. And as soon as they are fully, invested in it and like it, then I'll start charging them. So that's actually going to happen next month. So after user acceptance, they'll start paying, their fees. And the pricing point right now is very cheap for a school. It's $3 per student per month. And that means, for example, this school is a small school. It's only 50 students. And that equates to about 120 users about. So that's, $150 a month for that school to use it. And that, the basic idea, and that's kind of what the next one's about, the next slide, you can go there, is that this platform only works for communities and memberships where there's a vested interest, where the people want to be engaged. It won't work for a public school necessarily because a lot of people treat public school like, babysitting. They don't want to participate. So when they're paying, when somebody's paying, like I pay for my kids to go to school, I care what they're doing and I'm interested in knowing what's going on. So that makes me want to use the app. And also means that the school or the club, let's say, it could be a private lesson or a golf club or something, if they actually want to control or be involved with the customers. It really requires both because you have to engage individual parties. So the idea is that, if you're paying, if there's a private school and they're paying an extra $3 per student per month, that is essentially, nothing. It sounds like a lot when you total it up, but per student is incredibly cheap. So right now I'm only targeting Montessori schools only because that's what my current customer is. So I can then branch out. And I've already
the one thing that I have to point out is, are you going to have to somehow collect $3 from each parent?
Oh, no, it's through the school. So the school will pay me the monthly fee, and then they will, in turn, decide to collect or not collect from each parent. That's right. And it's a tiered system. So, 1 through 100 is this much, and 1 through, 100 to 300 is this much, like that. So it's definitely not per person. That's right. The idea is that okay, that's fine. And then, so there's some other areas that people have been telling me and places they would love to see it, and that's kind of what's listed here: homeowner associations, private lessons, and other things. But just like this one, and kind of, I was actually part of 1 Million by 1 Million 2 years ago, and one of the premium members, and that's, the business that I was working on, I got rid of, essentially because I went through all your material and realized that they were not the right business. I didn't care about them, and I didn't have the insight, and I didn't have the understanding of how to build it essentially. So now this came up, and now I do feel good about it, and I feel like the next step is me branching out. I've got a couple leads, of course, from the school to other schools, and I do have a mailing list that I'm starting to generate and, doing some campaigns, and you can jump to the next slide if you want. But all these things are I'm just starting. I'm just getting out of user acceptance. So now it's just all about, word of mouth, referrals, and then figuring out how to reach my initial target, which is Montessori schools. And I'm fairly confident that any school that gives me the 15 or 20 minutes will love it, because I know that the parents here love it. I know this school loves it, and it's just, it's a wonderful thing. I don't think that there's, when I first thought of it, I couldn't find anything that does what this does. All the school software I've seen is trying to cater to lesson planning or reporting of the grades or more of the internal business of the school, not the engagement with the actual audience. And that's what, as a parent, that's what I really want. I don't really care how the grades come out. That's not as important as the everyday. Like, I want to see a picture of my daughter going to that creek you said she went to yesterday. Where's the picture? Or I want to go to one place to sign the form. I don't want to ask my wife, did you sign it? Did I sign it? Did we both sign it? I don't know. How did it work?
Okay.
So that's the idea.
Well, there are people working on this kind of solutions. In fact, last week, actually, I think was it last week or relatively recently, we had a group present something to do with the school software as well. social network kind of stuff.
Yeah, I saw there was a lady did a social network, and before that there was some guy doing a football thing. Yeah, I keep watching your things, but all of those, they all have a different business mode. So my business mode is the proprietor runs it and pays a very small fee.
Yes,
that's the way the business runs.
I like that, and I think I like the fact that you're thinking about very early on. You're thinking about how it's going to monetize, how you're going to, build the business, and it seems like you have had some of that, what you learned in terms of methodology, you're using this and using all that in this business, and I like that very much.
Yeah, for sure. Without 1M1, I wouldn't have this. There's no question about it.
So, keep building, and I think you kind of know the methodology of 1M1M. You've studied the methodology of 1M1M, so keep building and come back and ask for help as you need to.
Yeah, so the only questions I have, right now, or does anything slap you in the face that I'm missing? Is there something that, seems like I'm underestimating or anything like that? It's only major questions I have.
The thing that you have to keep in mind, I don't know if you remember from the methodology, is that you're selling something that is a small deal size business, right? You heard earlier from Ramesh Mahalingam. Ramesh is selling a very big ticket average deal size item, right? It's $120,000 to $150,000 a year price point. You're selling something that is $120 a month, $120, $150, maybe $300 a month, which is a much smaller price point. So you're going to have to, find a way of doing this scalably. You cannot go door to door and visit people and sell. You have to sell this online on the web, or you have to sell it by phone at best. But you have to find scalable ways of selling it without having to meet people face to face. So keep that in mind as you're developing your sales methodology.
Perfect. Good.
Okay. All right. Good. Very good. We are going to go next to Tanuja Fadke. Tanuja, are you on the call?
Yeah, I'm on the call, but I just sent out an email. I was sick yesterday. I'm barely able to talk, so asked to reschedule for.
Okay, no problem. No problem. Maureen will reschedule you. I can hear that you're really sick, so let's make sure that you have a chance to do this next time.
Sorry about that.
I have a Vishal. Okay, Anudeep, who's on the call. Anudeep Chennupati is pitching for Vishal Yadav, NomNom. Go ahead, Anudeep. Anudeep, are you on the call? I see that your line is on. Are you on mute? You need to unmute your line if you're on mute. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, speak up, Anudeep. We can't hear you.
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead. Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Just give me hi, so my name is Anudeep, so I'm part of this a company called NomNom. It's actually a 3-month-old startup. So generally we were working on this idea of building a two-side platform for homemade cooks and for the and also to provide homemade food for the customers. So we actually came across your article on LinkedIn a couple of weeks back, and we found out that whatever it was mentioned in the article, it was closely related to the idea we were working on. So we thought it's to get some suggestions or some ideas from your perspective. So if you we're actually a team of 3. So I myself is Anudeep, and my other friend Vishal, and there's other person, third member called Bhavya. She's working over from Seattle. So can you go to the third slide? Yeah, this is our team. Can we go to the next slide? Okay. So ours is a very simple business model. It's a two-sided platform connecting the home cooks with the eaters. So generally, we have built an Android and iOS app. I mean, Android is on verge of completion. We're doing a beta testing, and iOS it's almost 50% is completed. So generally, it's what all has to do is like the suppliers who are willing to supply homemade food for their fellow community members. They have to register with ourselves, and then they post a menu and the pictures and whenever they're available for delivery. And then these pictures will be put into our app. Then the consumers who wants to have a homemade food, they can just go through it and find the food they want to eat, which have been provided by their fellow suppliers, and they can place an order and enjoy the delicious homemade food.
Okay.
Go to the next slide. So we have a very simple value proposition. So for supplier, it's about making money by doing what you love to do. So generally, like it's like working from home concept, but you can for the people who enjoy cooking and still want to make some money at their place, and this is like the best opportunity. And also, apart from making money, they can also share their culture with the fellow community members. Like I myself being an Indian, I can actually show to my fellow to my neighbors about what our culture is, how our food tastes, and what are the different kinds of foods that we eat, and etc. And for the consumers, again, it's one way to save money, because we are not we won't be pricing at what the restaurants will be charging for the low quality food they supply. And also, again, for them, it's an opportunity for them also to share, to understand, and also to taste different authenticate homemade cuisines. And for a company, we'll be charging 10% for each transaction. That's how we'll be able to monetize through our platform.
Okay.
And yeah, for the customer acquisition, initially, since we are only 3 people, we'll be starting with the Bay Area and Seattle. The main reasons for we are targeting these regions is because this is where we find single bachelors or working employees who would be willing to like explore when it comes to the food. And for
so why Bay Area and Seattle? Why 2 geographies? Because this is a two-sided marketplace. You're going to have to make both sides of the marketplace work, and I would kind of go one step at a time, one geography at a time, because you have to get both sides of the equation working.
Yeah. So only reason is because like 2 of us, Vishal and myself, we both are in Bay Area, and the third teammate, she's in Seattle. So we thought we can just start.
That's not a good reason. That's not a good reason to start in Seattle.
Okay.
You should do it in one place, because it's going to be more expensive to spread out.
Okay. Why not? And yeah, and for the advertising, we are initially starting with the social media and on the distribution of pamphlets to within our community, and also there are a lot of community events that are happening here. So we thought that is one way we can advertise our app and take this idea more into the people. And for the supplier identification, we are currently working on it. We found 5 people who are willing to supply food, and also we found one person who's actually doing that, but she has a website of herself and she is doing it from past 6 months. So we took we took a couple of suggestions from her about like how about she's going with supply from the supply point of view, and what customers are looking from her, and what kind of quality they're expecting, and how much money she generally charges. And similarly, we have identified 3 more suppliers in Bay Area who are willing to do the same thing, but they don't have a platform as like a website or an app to do that. So they said they could actually help us with this. And also apart from this, we are trying to make promotional offers like referral bonus and discounts and few rewards. Like let's say you refer a person, probably you'll get a $5 off for the first order you make. And also for the suppliers, let's say if you can supply like 20 dishes within this period of time, then you will get some amount of money. And as of now, we are.
And your suppliers are doing the delivery themselves?
Yeah, initially we are thinking of having just to pick up as the only option. But in case if the suppliers are willing to deliver, then they'll provide an option. But we thought again to start with, we'll just have a pickup option because I mean again the logistics and the pricing would vary for that.
Started.
Yeah, so to start with, we're just going with this. And for the finance, we look at the technologies and all the tools we are using. They're just coming up for like $600 per year, and also for the promotional and the miscellaneous costs we added. We just made an approximation with some basic numbers, and we found out that it wouldn't cost more than $2,500, or at max it could reach $3,000 for the first year.
And how many, so what is your approximation of how many suppliers and how many orders do you need to, break even?
Yeah,
and I'm sure you want to make money yourselves as well. It's not like the three of you want to do this for free. Are you guys bootstrapping this with a paycheck? Do you all have other jobs?
Yeah, we all have full-time jobs, and we are initially going with a bootstrap. Yeah, so initially we made an approximation of close to 400 consumers in 1 year. That's our target, and since we're at the initial stage, we don't want to charge too much from the suppliers or from the consumers. So by taking $1 per transaction or per order, we had to make close to 2,500 orders to reach the break even, at least for the first year, by keeping all the costs low and also keeping the minimum revenue.
Okay. For what size order? You can't do it if you. I thought you said you were going to take 10% of the order.
Yeah. So each order will be like one dish, or so it depends on how they form the order. Like for one or let's say you want to combine a couple of 2 dishes into one order and price it at $20 or $30, then we'll be charged. But the final price will be 10% more than what it is, and we'll be taking those 10%.
I see. Okay. So what are your questions?
Yeah, so anyway, since we are just currently working on the technology side, and we haven't actually worked on the business side about, especially we want some suggestions or these things regarding the pricing model, like how should we go about the pricing or pricing the items?
Well, you have to think through a little bit about how people tend to order and what segment are you going for, right? So if you're, if the primary consumer segment that you're going for are families that want to order, working families, let's say where both people in the couple are working and they want to order food several times a week, then your customer acquisition costs can be amortized over regular orders and so forth. And these are mechanisms with which you can build really stable, sustainable businesses. The order size is larger and so forth. So that would be my instinct based on this would be for you to go for something like that, where you get maybe 50 families that you pair up with these suppliers, and you have a kind of ongoing flow of orders on a regular basis. That would be a very, customer acquisition-wise, it would be a more efficient way to acquire customers and with a much larger customer lifetime value.
Okay.
Okay. So if you hang on, I will explain to you how to use 1M to learn the business side. It sounds like you guys are developers, trying to learn the business side, and obviously we'll be happy to teach you all that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So, folks, let me actually check with Shane. Shane, if you could unmute your line, and what are your thoughts about the businesses that we heard from today, and what is your feedback to these entrepreneurs?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, great. So I can totally empathize with the developer learning the business. Actually, it's exactly what I did and my co-founder. I think the feedback there is just to follow your advice and stick with it. You can definitely learn the ropes. I don't have an awful lot of advice for the others, actually. Sorry, because I had to pop out halfway through, so I don't really Shane, your primary methodology that has worked for you is very much in tune with the 1M philosophy of bootstrap first, raise money later, or not at all. And
both of those options are fine. You know, in all of the cases that we discussed today, the 3 entrepreneurs that we discussed today, Ramesh has already is approaching $1 million in revenue. Obviously, he has bootstrapped his way to quite a lot of progress.
Yeah.
And William is bootstrapping with a paycheck, and Anudeep and the team there are also bootstrapping with a paycheck. So I'm very happy to see all of you are following this bootstrap first philosophy, and then maybe, you know, some of you will be raising money, some of you will not be raising money and just bootstrapping all the way through, and all of that is fine. So all that is consistent with where what we think are the primary, you know, strategies of success, because if you try to raise money right away, you will not succeed. And I think Shane is a very good example of having been able to bootstrap all the way to over $5 million in revenue, and he's not even looking for money yet. Ramesh has got a little bit of angel financing, but his revenue line is very, very solid. So I'm very pleased to see that all of you are essentially focusing on customers, revenues, and profits as opposed to financing. So very, very much in tune with the philosophy of the program. It looks like we are attracting the right kind of entrepreneurs here.
Yeah,
so thank you, Shane, for sharing your story. Yeah, go ahead.
Sure. I think if I found 1 million by 1 million 5 years ago, I would have gotten here quicker. I think maybe I figured out some of the same things that you're teaching people, but yeah, it has worked very well for us. Having that strong revenue throughout and having us bootstrap has been really successful for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Very good. So I'm going to explain to you a little bit about how to use 1M1M. And before we go in, I want to ask for a favor from you guys. We are looking for serious entrepreneurs to be part of 1 million by 1 million. And the word serious is in bold for a reason. We are not interested in these entrepreneurs who don't understand that it takes many years of excruciatingly difficult work to get to millions of dollars in revenues and a successful company. People come with all sorts of crazy ideas that they can just cobble together something and raise money and pay themselves big salaries and blah, blah, blah. This is not the kind of entrepreneurs we are interested in. We are interested in entrepreneurs who really want to build solid, robust companies, and those are serious entrepreneurs. So if you have serious entrepreneurs in your friends and family and in your orbits who are looking for help, by all means, bring them into 1M1M, and we'll be delighted to work with them and help them, shepherd them along. So in terms of resources, you'll find everything at 1mby1m.com. The blog is rich and full of learning materials. You'll learn a lot just by following the blog, and it's free. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series is, there are 12 volumes out already, 12 to 16 case studies each, and it double-clicks down, the books double-click down on each topic. So bootstrapping with a paycheck, for instance, there's a whole book, and we have a whole methodology around it. So we believe in that methodology. We have seen that be successful many, many places, and I'm actually thrilled to see a couple of you today who are successfully bootstrapping with a paycheck. If you go to the website, there's a ton of material, lots of videos, video FAQs, etc. You'll find tons of information. These roundtables happen every week. This is the 318th roundtable. So keep using these roundtables as well to learn. Use the roundtable recordings to learn. If you want to pitch at a roundtable, you're going to need to register on the website and to attend the live show as well. We also have the premium program, which William has already been part of, and his first idea, he took it through 1M1M, he learned the methodology and then invalidated that idea and has come up with a different idea and is now bootstrapping that with a paycheck. So he's very familiar with the premium program, and basically in the premium program, we give you extensive methodology guidance. We have a case studies and video lectures-based curriculum. We help you with business development, we help you with strategy consulting, and if you are fundable, we help you with financing and media relations as well. And that's a $1,000 annual membership fee program. The $1 Million Club on our website will familiarize you with some of our case studies, success stories of the program. And the one-on-one value equation ROI is also published. We offer you $375,000 plus 5 to 10% equity worth of value for just $1,000 annual membership fee. It's a very high value program, and it is our effort to democratize entrepreneurship education and incubation and acceleration. And it's something that you definitely should check out to see how you can accelerate your journey significantly by using proven methodologies and riding on the shoulders of over 700 successful entrepreneurs who have helped us develop these case studies, and based on their journeys, their learnings, and they've been very generous in teaching what they have learned and giving back what they have learned so that you who are coming later can leverage their learnings. The one-on-one self-assessment is a set of questions that you should be asking yourselves about your own business. And I'm a very big believer in asking the right questions. You know, if you are willing to ask the right questions, and if they're hard questions, threatening questions, that's okay. If you ask those questions and if you're willing to work through those questions to arrive at the answers, you will accelerate your journey. I'm absolutely confident about that. So go to the self-assessment. I've assembled a bunch of questions that you can, accelerate with. Now, methodology guidance, those of you who are doing this for the first time and need methodology guidance on the business side especially, you can also start with one-on-one basic, which is a curriculum-only subscription of $99 a month. So if you're not ready for the premium program, you can also just start with one-on-one and basic, and that's fine too. You just learn with the video lectures and case studies on your own. You can come and ask questions. You can ask questions in the public discussion area of the curriculum, and you can also ask questions at these sessions, the free sessions. And that's a good way to get started as well. What we've tried to do is give you learning materials at different price points. Some things are free. Some things are, the books are very inexpensive. $100 a month is not exactly an expensive proposition either. And then even $1,000 a year is not that expensive. So really, we are trying to democratize and give all of you access to the resources so that you can accelerate your learning process. Anyway, dig around on the website. There's tons of information, and see if this program is for you. And if it is, come join and we will work with you. We will work with you shoulder to shoulder and help move you along as much as possible. Our methodology is lean, capital-efficient, bootstrap startups. Even if you raise money, you'll have to bootstrap first and raise money later. That's pretty much all I want to share. Roundtables every week in September. So every Thursday morning you have a roundtable. We have plenty of slots available to work with you. And that's pretty much it. We can take some questions. We have a bit of time for questions. If you have questions, please use the public chat to ask questions or dial in the screen. Your screen has the dial-in numbers right now. And while you're getting ready to ask questions, let me introduce you to Irina Patterson. If you have questions about the program, you can contact Irina, and she'll be very happy to help you make the decisions of whether you want to do one-on-one and basic or premium, or any other questions that you might need to, need answers to. Anybody? Questions, comments, issues, observations? No? All right, folks. If you don't have questions, then we will adjourn, and we'll be back here next week, same time, same place. We'll continue with the working session, and as I said, this is a working session. Come here, feel completely safe, and we are here to help you. There is absolutely no need to feel shy or no need to feel scared. This is a place where you can come and safely get feedback, work on your issues, learn, and make progress. All right, bye-bye. See you soon. See you soon.